Hi, everybody. This is Joe Firestone for Empowering Democracy. And tonight's topic is the Dump the Corruption, fundraising of Representatives Debbie Dingell, Virginia Escobar, and Lloyd Doggett. And I'm just being joined by Gregory Mallard. Hi there, Greg.
Howdy.
How you doing?
After that reading of Suleiman, it's just heartbreaking. It's just really
Yes.
heart shattering as to everything he's endured and many others like him.
We were part of the panel, on Brandy and D. And Brandy was reading an account, of the death of this very saint-like man, Solomon, who was he was hit by a truck driven by someone for the Israeli army, and then he was dragged 10 meters, which is 30 feet, of course. He died after a week from his wounds. And this man was a particularly saintly man, extremely nonviolent and very loving of all the people around him. And the narrative of his death was very, very moving. And so we are moved. So we now switch, to dump the corruption. Important matters, but more mundane matters. Before I start actually going into the three Congress people, Debbie Dingell, Veronica Escobar, and Lloyd Doggett, I do want to hit one news item about this Congress, which of course is relevant to dump the corruption. That appeared in Common Dreams. And you should be seeing it now on your screen. The article is called Justifying Attack on Social Security. A House Republican claims, quote, people want to work longer, unquote. So let's briefly go through this. A Republican, Rick Allen of Georgia.
Oh, God, that's my congressman.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
suggested last week that he would support raising the Social Security retirement age, a policy change that would slash benefits across the board, because people have approached him and said they, quote, actually want to work longer, unquote. Well, of course, anybody who's sensible would reply, well, that's you. You want to work longer. You're free to work longer. Go ahead. Confronted by an advocate, going back to the article, confronted by an advocate in the Capitol building and asked how the GOP plans to cut Social Security, the congressman responded, we're not going to cut Social Security. But seconds later, he contradicted himself by expressing support for raising the retirement age, saying the move would solve every one of these problems, not specifying what the problems are from his perspective. Well, I've got a better way okay, of solving the problem. All we have to do is mint one platinum coin a year and deposit it into the Social Security Trust Fund. That would solve the problem. $1 trillion coin a year would solve the shortfall. But seconds later, Allen contradicted himself by expecting support for raising the retirement age, saying the move would solve every one of these problems, not specifying what the problems are from his perspective. God bless you, honey. Here's a tweet from Social Security Works. Republican Congressman Rick Allen wants to cut Social Security by raising the retirement age because people, quote, want to work more, unquote. Now, do you think Rick Allen has ever talked to a person with a real job in his life?
No,
So,
he hasn't, and he's never even did a town hall here in Georgia's 12th congressional district. And this is my Congress critter. He's my congressman, and he's an idiot.
yep, he's an idiot, and he doesn't dare show himself to his.
What raising the age of retirement?
That's interesting that you asked that question. People come up to me, they actually don't work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's on the table, you're saying?
Well, if people want to work on it, maybe you need to give them an incentive to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a way to solve every one of these problems, by the way.
He
I know, I
even
know.
looks like clueless in person.
At the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Just take that right there.
He's very clueless, and I'm embarrassed to say he's my congressman.
Well, it's not your fault that he's your congressman.
No, it's not.
Allen is a member of the Republican Study Committee. I'm sure he's great at studying. A House GOP panel that released a policy agenda last year calling for gradually raising the retirement age from 67 to 70, partially privatizing the New Deal program, and means testing benefits. Those Republicans just want to privatize that New Deal program so bad they want to give it to stock market managers who can make a profit off it. As Matt Brunig, to get back to the article, of the People's Policy Project, a left-wing think tank, has explained, raising the Social Security age is just a straightforward benefit reduction being expressed in an opaque way. Quote, Social Security does not have one retirement age. It has 96 retirement ages, one for each month between age 62 and 70, Brunig wrote in October. What people call the full retirement age, FRI, is just a placeholder in a formula that determines the benefit level at all 96 retirement ages. And someone proposes increasing the requirement age to 68, he continued. All they're really proposing is to cut most monthly Social Security benefits by around 7% at all 96 retirement ages. A proposal to raise the retirement age to 70 is just a proposal to cut monthly benefits by around 23% of all 96 retirement ages. House Republicans have repeatedly signaled in recent months they will exploit every point of leverage they have, including a fast approaching showdown over the debt ceiling to pursue long sought cuts to Social Security under the guise of saving the program from a non existent financial crisis. During a House Republican meeting last week, a slide presentation indicated that the GOP tends to use its narrow majority in the lower chamber to push for reforms to mandatory spending programs, a category that includes Social Security and Medicare. The Republicans want you to work until you die, the progressive advocacy group Social Security Works tweeted Sunday. Quote, shameful, unquote. And Max Richtman, president and CEO of the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, wrote in an op-ed for The Hill last week that, quote, America's seniors cannot afford benefit cuts, including raising the eligibility ages for future Social Security and Medicare beneficiaries. Of course, quote, of course, the public is not demanding that Social Security and Medicare be cut. Quite the opposite. Both programs remain overwhelmingly popular. The large majority of voters, 83% across party lines, say they want to see Social Security expanded, not slashed, with the wealthy contributing their fair share in payroll taxes, Rickman continued. Nevertheless, McCarthy has empowered a handful of ultra MAGA members to dictate policy for the new House majority, unquote. Okay, so guys, for me, the strange part of all this is not Republicans trying to cut Social Security. They've been trying to cut Social Security since Franklin Roosevelt implemented it. And
So has Democrats like Joe Biden.
Yes, I'm sorry. Say that again.
So has Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe Biden has made, 5 public attacks on Social Security since 1990, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, he has been one among them who, claiming fiscal responsibility is his excuse, has wanted to arrange in the past for compromises with the Republicans involving cuts to Social Security. But what's strange to me about organizations like the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, okay, and also Social Security Works, is that they have known now for some time. In fact, I was at a meeting in 2010 where the then head of Social Security Works, whose name, is Nancy Altman, she was co-director of that time, and I sat there, and for a few minutes I got to talk to her, and I explained to her why and how the federal government actually creates money, and why Social Security benefits are not really dependent on what's in the trust fund, but are dependent on what Congress appropriates. It's a matter of congressional appropriations. I'm sure by now Nancy Altman has read Stephanie Kelton's book. I was at a meeting, and I believe it was in 2017 or 2016, where Stephanie Kelton was running a panel at Economists for Peace and Security, and one of the people who was on that panel was Nancy Altman. And of course, Stephanie and Pavlina Cherneva were talking about the real facts, of financing. And we're making it clear the taxes do not fund spending. Okay, Nancy Altman is here in Washington, D.C., goes to many meetings. She surely knows what the MMT shtick is. And the people in these two organizations know as well what the MMT shtick is. But they're still talking about increasing Social Security taxes to pay for Social Security, or what I should say is, they want to raise the age for contributions. What they should be doing is lowering the age for contributing to Social Security to 0 and having a Social Security program that is free to all when they reach retirement age. When are we going to see that? I don't know exactly when we're going to see that, but I know this. Okay, it depends on whether Social Security works and whether the Committee to Preserve Social Security, and Medicare quit playing the game of the Austerians who all pretend that Social Security has to be paid for, quote unquote. So I did want to cover that. I did want to say that. And I also wanted to point out what is so important. That is that the Republican donors want them to cut Social Security because they want that labor force to be as big as possible so that they can coerce people into accepting lower wages. That is what is going on here, and the donors are in back of it. And if we want to stop it from happening, we have to dump the corruption. That's what's got to be done. So now let's go to how some of the members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus are funding themselves. Now, one of my favorite congresspeople is actually Debbie Dingell. And the reason why I like her is because she would make a very good compromise position between somebody like Hakeem Jeffries and the so-called left of the progressive Democrats. She would be someone who could get votes from all the people in the Democratic caucus for Speaker. And I certainly hope that if it should be the case that our campaign to dump the corruption is not successful, I certainly hope that Debbie Dingell gets to be the Speaker in that case. Of course, if our campaign is successful, then, as you will see, most probably Debbie Dingell will be swept out with all the other congresspeople who don't fit our litmus test. But let's start with the summary of what Debbie Dingell does. Her top industry, is automotive, which is not surprising because she represents people in the Detroit area. And she got $20,700 from that industry, which is kind of interesting. You'd think that she would be getting a fortune from the automotive industry, but she doesn't. Maybe we'll learn a little bit more about that when we look at who she does get her contributions from. She's on the Energy and Commerce Committee, by the way, in the House, and on the Natural Resources Committee. Ooh, I wonder if she cares about the environment. Her top contributor in 2021 to 2022 was Mad Dog Technology. She raised, take a look at this, folks, $164,700 $568. That was the smallest amount of money that we have seen from a congressperson thus far. And we have gone through, I think, 18 congresspeople, including the two that Greg went over last night.
Yeah, let's just say I kind of got canceled by a few people over that one, but I don't care
Oh, really? Why'd you get canceled by a few people?
because I'm going after two prominent Democrats in the state of Georgia.
Oh, yeah, Lucy McBath and also Nikema Williams.
Oh, yeah.
So Debbie Dingell spent $225,059, and she ended up with only $10,236 on hand. Not that much going into 2024. So this is going to be very interesting. Let's see. Do I have this set for both her campaign committee and her PACs? Oh no, I have it set for leadership PAC only. That's why we're getting such low figures. Okay, because that was just her PAC money. That was still very low. That's interesting. Okay, so this is combined. So she got 93,000 from the electric utility industry, and a top contributor was Rock Holdings. I don't know what Rock Holdings actually does, but we'll learn more about it. She raised 1,719,826, which is way below the average for Congress people. She spent a little more than that, 1,786,495. The average raised for Congress people this time around, 2022, was 3.5 million, or close to that, as we've been seeing in a number of these programs on fundraising. She left the campaign with cash on hand, or finished the campaign with cash on hand of $443,772. Compared to most, she's still not a big fundraiser. She got from Rock Holdings 31,800, 15,800 from the individuals, and 16,000 from PACs. She got a contribution from Ford Motor Company, 26,500, 11,500 from individuals, 15,000 from PACs. I would expect her to be pretty big with unions, because her father-in-law and her husband were both pretty big with unions. Anyway, she got a contribution from Mad Dog Technology, 22,400, all from individuals. No PAC money there. And University of Michigan, $18,765 from people, but none from any PAC. Okay, DT Energy, she got 17,000, 12,000 from individuals, 5,000 from their PAC. So we know her top industry was the electric utilities industry. She got $87,550 from health professionals, 21,000 from individuals, but 66,000 from PACs. And that's interesting because Debbie Dingell was a co-sponsor of the Medicare for All Act. And she was real gung-ho about it, and real gung-ho about co-writing it with Jayapal. She got a lot of money from retired people, 86,303, all from individuals. From the automotive industry, she got 81,500. 17,500 from individuals, 64,000 from PACs. From lawyers and law firms, 46,235, 31,500 from PACs. So you see, every time she ran, she raised a lot less money. Or is this raised or spent? I don't know. Right, this is money raised. She raised a lot less money than the average each time she ran. The first time was in 2014. Her husband had died. Oh no, I guess he retired, and he died later. But when he retired, she ran for his seat, which he had held for something like maybe 40 years, maybe 50 years. He was first elected in 1958. And I guess he retired in something like 2012. He was there for a long, long time. I believe he was close to the record. Of course, her name recognition is great in her district. Her fundraising has gone up a little over time, but it's way below the average fundraising for congresspeople. There it is, 3.48 million versus her own 1.56 million. So that's kind of the summary for her. I'm going to kind of skip around a little today because I do want to get through everybody. I want to take a look at her PACs. See what happened with her PACs. She raised $756,412 from PACs. That was a very large percentage of the money she raised. It was close to 50%. In sectors, she got 35,000 from agribusiness, 79,000 from communications, and electronics. Wait a minute. Well, I guess this is all PAC money. 3,500 from construction, 5,500 from defense, 99,500 from energy and natural resources. I don't think that's fossil fuels, but we'll find out more about that later. 47,500 from the fire sector, 124,400 from health industry PACs, 32,500 from the lawyers and lobbyists, 74,500 from transportation, 57,500 from miscellaneous business. Would be nice to know what that is. 157,000 from labor. She is very popular with the labor unions, as her husband was. Got 157,000 from labor PACs. Ideological single issue, she got $37,012, and from other, about 3,500. So that other category is not hiding very much. She did get a lot of money from business PACs. You see here that was 73.75% of what she raised. And she got 175,000 from labor PACs. That was 21.4% of what she raised. So she wouldn't qualify because she was a big acceptor of PAC money, including business PACs. So I find that very interesting. Let's take a look at our contributors. Now, this was money from her leadership PAC. 533 contributions from her leadership PACs. These were her top 20 contributors to both her campaign committee and her leadership PAC. We've been over some of these figures before. She doesn't have any huge contributors to either her campaigns or her PACs. Contributions are, 20,000, 17,000, 12,500. The biggest contributor is Rock Holdings, which we looked at before, and the Ford Motor Company, which only contributed between the individuals and the PACs 26,500. From GM, she got 12,500 from their PAC. But interestingly, the Teamsters Union alone gave her more money, $15,000 from their PAC. The American Hospital Association gave her 11,000, 10,000 from a PAC, and 1,000 from people. So these are relatively small contributions, from industry, and not that much in PAC money from the top 10 contributors. So let's see. Let's take a look at her spending. The biggest items of spending was salaries. 261,621. This is very different from many of the Congress people we've examined thus far. She spent very little on media. She spent some on administrative. She made contributions herself. She did fundraising drives. And those cost her what, 146,293 dollars. Let's go look at the breakdown, the top vendors and recipients. Jesus. She contributed to the DCCC 255,000. And remember, she was way under the average for Congress people. She gave something like 1/6 of what she raised to the DCCC for their stuff. She gave 95,872 to Fiorello Consulting. $88,000 to Align. Hart Research Associates, 77,000. So she spent a fair amount on consultants. Brandon Hines, 67,122. Action Factory Network, 47,718. She gave to Automatic Data Processing 44,480. Perkins Cole, that's a law firm, 42,978. To Kelsey Christian, she gave 33,932. That was probably a consultant. To Jody Weisler Defoe, 33,000. NGP Van, that's a data place. She gave $31,160.
Yeah, I'm noticing that a lot of these people take and send a lot of money to the same groups.
Yes, to the same groups. In this case, this NGP Van is selling data to a lot of these Congress people because you see them on list after list. Of course, you also see the DCCC list after list, but this is an unusual amount of money to be given to the DCCC, especially when you yourself are not raising that much money compared to other people. Okay, Leah Dotson, 24,480. Singh Car Service, that's a driver, I guess, 18,804. Change Media Group, 17,500. Uber Technologies, 16,967. Kelly Lowndes, 16,592. She gave 16,398 to Act Blue. 15,059 to DoorDash. 14,513 to Flowers and Plants. The first time we've seen something like that, the flowers and plants. Maybe she likes fresh flowers in her office every day.
And that's the first I've ever heard anything about DoorDash in a campaign as well, which they're a meal delivery service.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
She gave a contribution to Dr. Kim Schreier for Congress. Kim Schreier is a congressman from the state of Washington. She sort of leans just a little left, I would say. She's sort of, at the center of the Democratic caucus. And then there's Angie Craig. I noticed a number of other people giving money to her. And Abigail Spanberger, who for the Democratic Party is a rightist. She's probably among the top 10 most right-wing candidates in the Democratic Party. She gave $3,000 to her. I don't know if I recall that Angie Gregg is a congressman. I think she might have been running for it. A lot of Congress people donated money to her. Okay, Lauren Underwood is just the slightest left of center, maybe a little more left than Kim Schreier. I think Lauren Underwood, is she from Illinois or Missouri? I forget. But she was given $3,000. Pat Ryan for Congress, he was the guy in New York State who had a primary upset. I forget whether he won during the general, but he was a big surprise. Nobody thought he had a chance. Susie Lee, she's a little more over to the left. She got $2,000. Okay, and Tom Malinowski, who was a New Jersey congressman but just got beat, she gave $2,000. Sanford Bishop, he sort of center right for the Democratic Party, I think. He got $2,000.
That's another Georgia Democrat who I will be covering over tomorrow evening.
He's not a Republican, is he?
No, he's a Democrat.
But he's very centrist, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Foster for Congress Committee. I'm not sure I know where he's from, but obviously he was running for Congress. And Brittany Peterson, Colorado, was running for Congress. Matthew Cartwright was running for Congress in Pennsylvania. He won. He's generally considered to be fairly lefty congressperson, but not as lefty as Summer Lee or some others. Then Andreas Salinas for Oregon. She's very rooted in the Democratic Party, but is definitely over to the left. I would say maybe in the left 1/3 of the party caucus. This was her first election to Congress. She had been in the state legislature for some time, and it was very good that she had all those local contacts and was so rooted in local politics, because she got opposed by somebody that Sam Bankman-Fried gave $11 million to. Somebody with no political experience. In other words, Andrea Salinas was swamped financially in that race, but she still pulled it out. Then there was Andy Kim for Congress. He's sort of, I would say, to the right of the center of the caucus. He's an old Obama hand. He was in Obama's administration for some time. And Jeff Ginter was trying to convert him to Medicare for All, but he failed. I once had a telephone conversation with him, an MMT telephone conversation with him, but he wouldn't listen.
Now, those old Obama hands will never listen.
I know, they never listen. Then there's Andy Kim. Oh, I said that already. Cindy Axne was running for Congress. She got knocked out of her seat, but she got $2,000 from Debbie Dingell. And Jared Golden got $2,000 from Debbie Dingell. He's rather a right-wing Democrat, but she does have some right-wing Democrat friends. She was like the only congressperson who was a member of the Congressional Progressive Caucus and the Problem Solvers Caucus. She seems to like everybody. Everybody seems to like her. Then Friends of Dan Kildee. He's pretty lefty. He's Michael Moore's friend. Johanna Hayes in Connecticut. She's sort of halfway lefty. Nobody really knows just how lefty she is when it comes down to it. She got 2,000. Friends of Jevin D. Hodge, 1,000. Friends of Lizzie Fletcher, 1,000. Gabe Vasquez, 1,000. And Donald Payne, 1,000. And Courtney, 1,000. Delgado, 1,000. Elaine Luria got 1,000. And also Lissa Slotkin got 1,000. She knows Elaine Luria, okay, and Alyssa Slotkin and Abigail Spanberger from the Problem Solvers Caucus. She gave 1,000 to Amelia Sykes. In other words, she had limited money, but she spread it around to a lot of people. There, is Chris DeLuzio of Pennsylvania. He won his seat rather impressively. He's pretty over to the left. He got 1,000 from her. Okay, I guess that's all I'm going to read off here. Except to note Sharice Davids, who's an indigenous congressman from Kansas.
I just found the Problem Solvers Caucus members website, and I'm going to share it in the private chat over in Facebook.
Okay, cool.
And then I'm also going to share it in the comments of this show so folks can go and read it for themselves.
Okay, so she spread a lot of her money around to other people. Okay, if you notice that, I mean, she must have given money to 20 other people running for Congress. See, her total contributions were 190,700. And that does not include what she contributed to the DCCC, because she contributed 255,000 to that show. So she had a very interesting pattern of contributions. She accepted PAC money. She contributed to PACs. She didn't raise a lot of money herself. She isn't really that beholden to anybody. It's kind of interesting. There was a lot of distribution of her contributions. Okay, so that's her. So let's get on to Veronica Escobar. Hey, Greg, you got a show tonight?
Yeah, I'm about to leave right now and get ready for my 10 p.m. show, but you can keep going on.
Okay, I'll go on, but I'll be there quickly. Okay.
Take your time. But if y'all want to catch my show, it's at Revolution Evolution, which will be in 5-10 minutes.
Okay, I'll be there as soon as I can.
Take your time.
Okay, so Veronica Escobar is a fairly lefty representative from Texas. Her top industry was from which she got $72,275. Was lawyers and law firms. Now the Hunt companies gave her a contribution. I'm not sure who the Hunt companies are, but I just note that The Hunt oil people are very big in Texas. Don't know why they give 25,400 to her though. She was another person who was lower than the average. She raised 1,454,000, spent 1,377,000. After the campaign, still had 362,243. Home Depot gave her 15,000. That was in PAC money. L3 Harris Technologies gave her 12,500 in PAC money, 500 from individuals. And Raytheon gave her 12,500 in PAC money. Probably just to open her door for them, because they're probably in her district. They're in a lot of districts, of course. They're in my congressional district over here in Ashburn. Really big in Ashburn. The next biggest industry to contribute to Veronica Escobar was real estate. She got 71,975 from them. Health professionals. She got 4,000 in PAC money there, but 48,919 from individuals. From lobbyists, she got $40,450 from individuals. No PAC money from lobbyists. Public sector unions, 39,700. She got 700 from individuals and 39,000 from PACs. Public sector unions, PACs. She's another person who raised a lot less than the average congresspeople. The yellow line is the average congresspeople, of course. And let me see that I got this properly set up here. Oh no. I'm sorry, I did not save that, so I better do it. I didn't share it, I mean, I better do it. Okay, so there we go. Veronica Escobar. Sorry I didn't save it before then, but you should be seeing the graphic right now. Okay, let me go to her PAC money here. She's got 579,474. That's about 1/3 of the money she raised from PACs, 338 the contributions. And the PACs were kind of across the board. From communications electronics, she got 51,500. From defense, she got 60,250. From labor, she got 146,000. She got 58,000 from audiological single issue category. 53,500 from health PACs, and 63,500 from the fire sector. So she took a lot of PAC money. There's no question about that. And obviously, if you take PAC money, then you fail our litmus test. She had a leadership PAC called Frontera Vision PAC. She had 514 contributions to that PAC. And the number of contributions from individuals, 200 or more, was 514. And that PAC raised $574,322. from her leadership pack. We've seen some of these figures before, but there weren't any really big PAC contributors. We're looking at $10,000 contributions, a lot of $10,000 contributions. Yep, lots of $10,000 contributions. There's the Plumbers Pipe Fitters Union on here, American Association for Justice, the Laborers Union, Lockheed Martin, Home Depot. Those are the top 20 PACs. Very interesting distribution. Let's look quickly at industries to see what the pattern is for industries. There were some 70,000 contributions. Generally, these contributions were split between individuals and PACs, with a little heavier emphasis on the PAC side. The top ones were lawyers and law firms, real estate, health professionals, lobbyists, public sector unions, transportation unions. So as I said before, a lot of her money came from unions, health services and HMOs, 37,600, 12,100 from individuals, 25,500. Okay. Candidate committees gave her 29,249. That means other Congress people contributed to her campaigns. She was pretty big with retired people, 26,209. Of course, not nearly as big as some other people who raised a lot of money, like AOC, for example. From the fire sector, she got 169,000. So that was pretty important industry for her. From the health sector, 123,824. Lawyers and lobbyists, 112,000. Ideological groups, 109,000. So now let's look at her vendor. Her spending. Her expenditures. Salaries, 248,250. Unclassifiable, 186,556. Spent a good deal on administration, a good deal on fundraising, 180,400 on fundraising. Now, once again, I have to emphasize that total fundraising is not very big. So the top vendors, she paid 129,000 to H&M Consulting. 104,000 to A+G Digital, Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, 100,000. Lauren Zimmerman, 92,348. Obviously, an individual consultant to her. Data processing payroll, 50,152. got some help from a place called MBA Consulting Group. Here is NGP Van again for about 40,000. I'm sure they're a data supplier. Gave 17,657 to Act Blue. Let me see what you gave to DCCC. 100,000 to DCCC in 4 payments. So they hit her pretty hard. Not as hard as they hit Debbie Dingell, though. She gave something to Buyer Auto. I thought Buyer Auto was Don Buyer, who's another congressman. Maybe it was another Buyer Auto. The one I'm thinking of is in Virginia, around here. She gave money to the Frontera Vision PAC, 12,249, and as we know, she raised a lot of money from them too. So that's interesting, money going back and forth. She gave 6,000 to Michelle Vallejo in Congress. Now, Michelle Vallejo was a really very fine candidate. She lost, unfortunately, because she got swamped financially. But she got 5,000 from Escobar, Veronica Escobar. She gave money to Malinowski for Congress and to Andrea Salinas, 1,000 in each case. She gave 5,000 to Michelle Vallejo. Not much else went out of her coffers. Those are the highlights. So again, we have some of these people, like Escobar and like Debbie Dingell, are operating within the present system. And so they take PAC money because PAC money hasn't been made but toxic yet to these people. If we are successful and it were made toxic, then probably people such as Debbie Dingell and Veronica Escobar would just stop taking it. Because, even though they were getting a lot of PAC money, a lot of that money can be shifted over to other forms of giving to campaigns. And they were not big receivers from the PACs in absolute funding. Anyway, let's get to the last of our people. God, I'm at 10:08 already. Here's a summary for Lloyd Doggett. 140,551 from his top industry, which is retired people. And his top contributor was 11,600 from King and Spalding. Okay, let me get. Oh my God, he raised a lot of money. Let me put the PACs too. Well, This is campaign committee and leadership PAC combined for 2022. He raised 1,298,224. So he didn't raise much. He spent 1,275,924. His cash on hand was 5,227,775. So he's raised a lot of money in the past. He probably wasn't stressed in his campaign this time. He didn't spend much. He raised a little bit more. Got out of the campaign with 5,227,775 left. That's a lot. Big war chest for his next campaign. The American Dental Association, he got 10,000 from a PAC there. He got a bunch of 10,000 contributions from PACs, including union PACs like Communication Workers of America, American Federation of Teachers, American Federation of State, City, and Municipal Employees, the American Dental Association, small PAC contributions of $10,000. His top industries were retired people, 140,000 in total, no PAC money there. Lawyers, law firms, 111,090. 10,500 of that was PAC money. The rest was from individuals. Health professionals. There, he got 14,900 from individuals, 95,750 from PACs. He got a decent amount from real estate, 76,650. 25,000 of it from PACs. And he got 47,758 from industrial unions. 47,500 of that was PACs. Now, here's a really interesting thing in his pattern. He's been a congressman for a long time. His first race was in 1994. In that race, he raised more than the average congressperson. Oh, why won't my thing work? I'm also not sharing this, I think, so let me share it. Doggett. So, the average for Congress people when he first started in 94 was 965,000. 965. It's not giving me the full amount. Okay, let's say he raised 965,500. That's probably what it was. No, that was the average raised by House members. He raised 1.25 million for that campaign. He then raised, in 2004, 10 years later, he raised about the average, which was 1.55 million. between 1994 and 2004, he had 4 races, and he raised, well, let's say between 500,000 and 700,000 for all those races. After 2004, he raised a little more, but he was still way below average. He was raising a little more than 1 million for 2006, 2008, 2010. Jumped up for 2012 to 1.74 million, but he was still way below the average for 2012, which was 2.06 million. Since then, since 2012, he's been way, way below the average every year, including 2022. So that big war chest he had, that was accumulated over time by spending less than the average. It's kind of interesting. That's an interesting pattern. Now he has a huge war chest. He's evidently very popular in his district and would be very, very close to. It would be very, very hard to beat him. He's on the Budget Committee and the Ways and Means Committee. In fact, I'm pretty sure that if Richie Neal was to leave as the chair of Ways and Means, Lloyd Doggett would be the next chair, of Ways and Means. I think of Lloyd Doggett as about in the middle of the Democratic caucus. He's not to the right of it. He's not to the left of it. Okay, he's in the middle. He's quiet. Most people really like him. Let's look at his total PACs. 359,862, which, as we've seen, is much less than others have taken in PAC money. So, but he does take PAC money. There's no question about that. So he's another one who are relatively good compared to other candidates, is still guilty of taking PAC money. Remember that PAC money is basically dark money. His contributors, he had 554 contributions of 200 or more from individuals. From contributors, he raised 692,892 from contributors, which is certainly a fair amount of money. But these total contributions in general from his top 20, they're quite small. I mean, he doesn't owe them big favors because almost everything here is in the range of 10,000 contribution. Looks like he was going out to people and asking them for a $10,000 contribution. So he's not really dependent on anybody. Let's see what they say about industries. Relatively small contributions. It's kind of interesting. I think I have to note that even though some of these candidates are taking money from PACs, also some of them have widely distributed contributors, many contributors, and no one gives them that much that they can truly own these representatives. at least when it comes to Escobar, when it comes to Debbie Dingell and Lloyd Doggett. All three of them have similar patterns in that respect. Now we are looking at his vendors and recipients. Interestingly, though, the media category here, he's big into media for his campaigns. He's small into salaries. He doesn't spend much on people in his campaigns. He spent the smallest amount of any congressman we've seen so far, $56,410 on salaries. Spent $66,000 roughly on strategy and research. $329,194 unclassifiable. I wonder what that is. That's 34.57% of what he gave out. On media, he spent $403,700. That's a glaring contrast to Escobar and to Debbie Dingell, who spent very little on media, especially Debbie Dingell spent almost nothing on media. She probably figures she's so well known that, everybody knows who she is, and her family's had that same seat since the New Deal. John Dingell Sr. was in Congress during the 1930s and was in favor of a national health service. He was trying to get a national health service way back then. Then his son took over his seat in 1958, and as I said, held it, I think it was more than 50 years. So that seat kind of belongs to the Dingell family. Maybe that's why Debbie didn't have to spend very much on media. They automatically vote for her. Anyway, Lloyd Doggett spends on media, $403,700. Doesn't appear to spend much on ground campaigns, which is probably why he doesn't need to pay very much in salaries. There's an all other category here, $41,876. I'm not sure what's in there. He has one media company, basically. This is Doggett. He has Beacon Media, $387,000. Out of that $400,000 that he spent was spent on them. And MAP, political communications, he spent $156,153 on them. Gave $155,000 to the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, $90,000 to Sage Media, planning and placement, $38,465 to Bank of America. Why would he pay Bank of America? Maybe he lent money from Bank of America at some point. He paid $35,889 to the Internal Revenue Service. Why would a campaign do that? Anyway, Normington Pets and Associates, $30,000. NGP Van, $14,566. The Democratic Party of Travis County in Texas, $13,500. Checkmark typesetting, $11,108. Democratic Party of Texas, $10,125. And Congressional Progressive Caucus PAC, $5,000. And Democratic Party of Williamson County, $6,000. Molly Paley, $39.65. Okay, as we see here, he failed the PAC test because he raised a considerable amount, okay, of PAC money. But generally speaking, he really looks pretty clean, doesn't he? Might surprise you to know that before Lloyd Doggett went into Congress, he was a practicing physicist. And many people think he's the smartest person in the Congress right now. Maybe it's just because they're awed by physicists. But anyway, that's that. So to summarize tonight, we have the Republicans trying to get ready to try to cut Social Security and making silly remarks about that. And we tested 3 Congress people to see if they could pass the litmus test. All 3 failed because they took PAC money. And they were Lloyd Doggett and Veronica Escobar and also Debbie Dingell. So that's 3 more. I think that gets us up to 21 members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus who have thus far failed our litmus test. Okay, it's 20-0. And so I think that ends things for me. Well, I guess I got a few comments, so let me see. Okay, I'll put Greg's show in the I'm going to put Greg's show in the comments before I leave. Okay. So here's the link address for Greg's show. I'm going to go over there myself and see how he's doing. God, that's a complicated link address. It seems to be going through Facebook, so I don't know what that's about. And let me see if I made a mistake in getting that link. Okay. So here's the link to Greg's show. Okay, I'm going to go over there myself and be in the show. Okay, good night, Kay. Thanks for staying so long. And I'm going to end this broadcast now.